A very good afternoon to all my dear students, and wishing you all a very, very happy Lodi. May the bonfire lights that you enjoy today fill your life with amazing, amazing success and happiness. Wishing you all a very happy Lodi, dear Ritu Tiwari, Richa, Bharat, Mahek, Pramod, Samina, Swati, Nikita, Nidhi, Shriya. Good afternoon, children. Mr. Strang, Gufran, Manisha, Sarthak, Anushka, Ashutosh, Soumyaranjan, Ananya, Aditi, Ayushi, Rabish, Kevin, Rajesh Kumar, Ashwini, all of you. Yes, Mr. Kevin, thank you so much. And I hope you all are also doing well. Yes, Mr. Ashwini Prakash, this is our last class for the Indian Partnership Act today. And after this, I'll be meeting you for your Companies Act. So I hope you have revised all what we have done till now. Good afternoon, children. All those who have sent beautiful wishes, good afternoon to you as well. So we have completed relationship of partners. Any doubts till then, till there, you can ask today. And we'll be completing the last topic, that is expulsion of partner. And after that, we will be moving to your dissolution and registration of firm. So I'll just take out the presentation for relationship of partners. Meanwhile, you have any doubts relating to the chapter before we conclude and start the expulsion of partner, please feel free to ask so that we can take up the common doubts right now. Yes, so I'll just take our expulsion of partnership. So we have already covered rights, duties, authorities, restriction. We have also covered. Great, Nikita. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you have revised and it's crystal clear. Darshan, Priya Darshni, Vaishnavi, Aisha, all of you. Good. Section 29 is very important. So you'll do it nicely. Sub-partnership. Section 30 also we have done. So let us quickly finish section 33, expulsion of partner, and one small paragraph. I know you all remember that it was revocation of continuing guarantee. We will do that also. Ashwini, you'll get the notes for unit 2 and unit 3 together by the end of day today. All right. So expulsion of partnership, that is section 33, which we are going to start off with today. So first of all, let us understand the meaning of the word expulsion. So children, expel means to just ask someone to get out of the organization. Just removing it. I told you last time also, it's a very harsh word which is used in which you're just asking the person to leave the organization immediately. So you have to leave the organization. You have been working with us, but we are really not having cordial relationships with you and we don't want to keep you in the firm. So now you have asked the person to kindly leave down the firm. So that is the meaning of expelling a partner. Now this kind of expulsion, since it is very, very serious kind of thing, maybe one of the partner is yes to remove someone. Very good, Mr. Kevin. To fire someone, that's great. So when you're asking, when you're removing someone, ek hota hai ki somebody is retiring, somebody saying, okay, goodbye, I'm leaving the firm. Ek hota hai death of a partner. Because of uncertain situations, he's no longer a person in your firm. But here we are completely removing him from the name of the firm. And this is a very harsh kind of thing. So it is not very easy to remove anyone out of your own sweet will. You have to have a valid reason. Just because of your personal quarrels and personal reasons, you cannot remove anyone from the partnership firm. You have to have good reasons if somebody is leaving your firm, leaving the organization. So it said a partner may not be expelled unless majority of the partners agreed, and they should have agreed in the good faith, plus there was a contract between the partners. Now, A, B, and C entered into partnership, and you all, my dear students, know that they always sign a partnership deed, which is known as the partnership agreement. And in that agreement, along with the name of partners, place of business, interest on capital, share of profits, they have also provided for the expulsion of partner. Remember, in the partnership deed, when we have discussed the contents, I told you that they at times also provide the power of expulsion is whether given or not. So let's assume A, B, and C has included this power of expulsion also in their partnership deed. Then only tomorrow, if you want to expel, you can expel a partner. So the number one condition is if the partnership deed is not having this clause, if partnership deed is silent, it is not including anything about your power of expulsion, then bacha, you cannot expel any partner. So we need to have this power of expulsion within our contract, which is between the partners, and this contract is known as partnership agreement. So this power should be given to the partners, first of all. Second thing, the power can be exercised by majority of partners. So if we want to expel A, and there are 5 partners, A, B, C, D, and E. So if only 2 of the partners agree, at least 3 is known as the majority of the partners. Kitne zyada partners? If 2 are agreeing, we don't want him to expel, we want him to be expelled, then it is an equivalent thing. But at least 3 of them, C and D, are agreeing that yes, we are ready to expel Mr. A, a partner who has really done something wrong. He has done embezzlement of funds or made some wrong accounting errors. He's keeping the profits to himself. He's trying to do any such kind of frauds. In such cases where there is a valid reason we want to expel him, then at least 3 of the partners should have agreed. All right. So majority of partners means if there are 10 partners, at least more than 5 should be agreeing to expel him from the firm. It's not that if 2 of the partners are saying we should expel, 8 does not want him to expel, then this power cannot be exercised. So till now, we have been doing admission of a partner, consent of all the partners is required. Minor joining as a partner, consent of all the partners is required. Retirement also requires the consent of all the partners. But expulsion does not require the consent of all the partners. It requires the consent of majority of partners. जितने ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हाँ कर देंगे तो हम expel कर देंगे. Reason हो सकता है there has been a case of sexual harassment. One of the partner has been really misbehaving with someone in the staff members in the firm. Now you will not keep calling everyone and asking, taking the consent. So if majority of partners have agreed, please throw him out of the firm. We don't want such kind of people who does not have legal etiquettes, who does not have ethics and principles to be followed as a part of partnership firm. So in such cases, you don't need the consent of all the partners. Expulsion can be done by majority of partners agreeing to it. And this power has been exercised in good faith. Abhi bona fide, good faith, repetitively talks about this. So good faith means you cannot say that I do not like face of Mr. A. He's not, very good looking, or he's not behaving in a good manner, or he doesn't get good stuff for me to eat. All the other partners get very nice stuff for me to eat, but he doesn't get a good tiffin. So you cannot have such silly reasons. It should be in good faith. You have to have a very valid reason for throwing someone out of the firm. तो जैसे वो बच्चों में लड़ाई झगड़ा होता है तो वो वाला आप quarrels के वजह से नहीं कह सकते that let's expel a partner. It's not that we had a debate last night and now I'm saying that I want to throw you out of the firm. It should be a valid, holding good reason, and it should be in good faith means it should be for the benefit of your organization. All right. So this is section 33, which defines what is partnership and what is the meaning of expulsion of partnership. Now let us understand how does the expulsion actually happens. So the number one thing that we have learned, children, is that the expulsion must be in the interest of partnership. That means only if the partners are agreeing, only if it is for the benefit of partnership, then only the expulsion can be done. The partner to be expelled must be given a notice. Now, what do you mean by giving a notice? Don't you think that a notice has to be sent to someone? You are taking such a big decision. That partner has been joining business with you, has been doing, having good clientage relationships, and now you want to throw him out of the organization. Don't you feel the need of giving him any notice? So yes, a notice has to be served to a partner before the expulsion. So number one, all of you have understood it should be in the interest of firm. It should be for the benefit of firm. If it is not for the benefit of firm, I'm sorry, I cannot remove anyone just because of my personal grudges. Number two, a notice has to be served. So if A, B, and C were 3 partners and B and C agreed that, okay, fine, we all are agreeing that A is not behaving properly, let's expel him from the partnership. So now I'm going to ask you a question. There is a question that is A, B, and C were the partners, and B and C were not happy with the way A is doing the business, and B and C has decided Number one, they had mentioned about this power of expulsion in the partnership deed, and this expulsion was for the benefit of firm. He was misusing the funds. They don't want such kind of chaos to happen. So they have mutually decided that let's expel this partner. We don't want him any longer with us. And while expelling, they just told that you are expelled from the partnership and they did not serve him any notice. Will this expulsion hold valid? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? What do you think? Can he hold this expulsion valid? Mrs. Aisha Tasneem has a question for us. After death of the partners, what share is divided among other partners? Will they make a new agreement? So it is known as the reconstitution of the firm, Mrs. Aisha. So today, when we talk about dissolution, you'll be learning if partner has died, then the remaining partners will decide whether they want to continue with the partnership. And if they want to continue, they will decide about the share of profits as well. Yes, Ashwini, that's correct. Vaishnavi Chaudhary, it generally says that the power of expulsion is given. So we are not making any deed just to specifically expel any partner. The agreement that we have made before should have provided us the power of expulsion. So generally we try to include this kind of power so that tomorrow if any problem happens, we don't have to face any difficulty. No, Mr. Kevin, majority consent and all consent is absolutely not at the same thing. ऑल कंसेंट ऑफ पार्टनर्स का मतलब है 10 पार्टनर्स तो 10 की 10 एग्री करेंगे तभी न्यू पार्टनर आएगा. दैट मीन्स कंसेंट ऑफ ऑल द पार्टनर्स. majority means if out of 10 7 have agreed, 8 have agreed, 6 have agreed, so 6 is more than 4 ना. So majority, जितने ज्यादा लोग मानते हैं, 6 of them agreed that we want to expel, then also you can expel. You don't have to wait for the consent of all the 10 partners. All right, Abhishek, we are just doing the expulsion of partners, so it's okay even if you were late. Everything, yes, that's great, Mr. Rabish. No, ma'am, this will not hold a valid expulsion. Why, children? Very good, all those who have sent the correct answer. Richa, Tamanna, Nikita, Pramod, Ashwini, all of you are correct. Why? Because we have expelled a partner without giving him a notice. Section 33 holds this kind of expulsion void. You can never expel anyone without giving him a notice. And why do you think it is essential to give him a notice? Obviously, when you're asking someone to leave the organization, don't you feel the need that an opportunity of being heard should be given? हम वो कानून में कहते हैं ना, लॉ में, कि आपको अपनी सुनवाई का हक तो मिलना चाहिए ना, सुनवाई होनी चाहिए. हम हिंदी में वर्ड यूज करते हैं ना, अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड तो मिलनी चाहिए. So let's take a very kiddish example. Mother went to the market and the two kids, brother, sister, were at home. And when she came back, the sister said, brother has been really fighting with me very badly, and just go and slap him because he hit me so badly. So what will a wise mother do? She will always ask the brother, or she will just completely go and slap because the sister is saying that you must have hit, and she'll just go and slap. नहीं करेंगे ना, हम पहले बुलाएंगे दोनों बच्चों को, let's come here and tell me what happened. This is what generally your parents would have been doing with you when you complained about something. They will not just go and thrash the other person. And this is what actually should be done. You must always give an opportunity of being heard, no? So this is known as the opportunity of being heard, that calling that person, serving him a notice and asking him, please report to my office tomorrow and tell me why you did this, or what do you want to say in context to this. So this is the meaning of opportunity of being heard. Law में ये terminology बहुत ज़्यादा use करी जाती है. So you should know why this kind of opportunity is given. So always remember that the mother will never slap the brother unless and until she will ask him. So this is the literal meaning of opportunity of being heard. Okay, yes, Kavyavi, you cannot expel him without giving a notice. Anushka is also correct. Shreya says without notice, it's valid, it's not valid. Okay, good. Notice is mentioned as if public should order. Mr. Kevin, we are not talking about public notice. आप कंफ्यूज हो गए, आप पब्लिक नोटिस में ही चले गए. पब्लिक नोटिस वाला था वो, व्हेन यू आर लीविंग द फर्म यू शुड गिव पब्लिक नोटिस, मींस यू शुड अनाउंस टू द पब्लिक दैट गुड बाय, आई एम लीविंग, नाउ आई एम नो मोर लायबल फॉर एनी एक्शंस ऑफ द फर्म. Here you are simply sending the individual, Mr. A, you will write the notice to Mr. A that we have decided to expel you. If you want to say anything, please come and say it. Alfie Thangal Mistan has a very interesting question. Is partnership chapter will help us in future or not? So you are doing a CA course. Tomorrow you're going to become a chartered accountant. You might go for a job or you might get into practice. So if you're holding your practice, you will be definitely entering into partnership with someone. Children, see, whatever we are studying does not mean that it is definitely going to be applied. Somewhere or the other, the studies just play a role in your entire life. Now, you cannot say that we are commerce students and, why did we learn about gravity? We are never going to use the principles of gravity or physics and chemistry. ऐसे तो नहीं कह सकते ना हम. कहीं ना कहीं तो हमारी जो हमने knowledge gain करी है, we are still trying to apply it or use it, or in society when we are sitting, we are moving, we have to apply it. So in the same way, partnership as a part of CA curriculum is very important because chartered accountants only form their partnerships, first of all. Secondly, when you go to another big four firms, like I've been working with Deloitte and Ernst & Young, and when you're giving the task related to your taxation audits, you have to see what the companies are actually doing. You might be doing an audit of a firm, so that firm might be having partnership with another firm. Not with another firm, because partnership firm cannot enter into partnership, but then you have to study about the characteristics, whether they are following the right rules and regulations or not. So ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि आपकी पढ़ाई ये वाली आगे काम नहीं आती. Each and everything that you learn in chartered accountancy course is 100% utilized somewhere or the other, whether you go for practice or you go for job. Okay, all right. They'll ask them to take the decision. Okay, good, Shruti. Mr. Kevin says, पहले भाई से बात होगी. Yes, brother से बुलाया जाएगा. And Aryan Kumar says, my mom will slap me, huh? Okay, उसके बाद पूछेंगे. So please tell her today that first you should ask, then you should do it. See, all of you, Rabesh, Riya, Aditi, everybody is answering about this slapping of the brother. So now you're never going to forget expulsion of partners. You will remember that before putting a slap, you should always ask. An opportunity of being heard has to be given. Examiner gives you questions like this. अभी हम 2 मिनट में लेने जा रहे हैं केस स्टडी वाला क्वेश्चन स्टडी मटेरियल में. It speaks about the same thing without serving the notice. So you have already given me the answer. That's absolutely correct. So that is how we use the practical chapters, Akshay Kumar, when we understand the practical examples. Miss Aditi, I told you for a sleeping partner, it is not necessary to give a public notice because he was not known to the public as a partner. So even if he is retiring, it is not required to give any public notice. But you are asking notice before expulsion. So when you are expelling him, please serve him a notice. Okay. All right, let's move ahead now. So all of you have understood how you can expel the partner. Section 33 is very, very important. Learn it in solvency. Death हमने पहले कर लिया था. Rights of outgoing partner, children. Section 36 is simply trying to tell you that you cannot utilize the firm's name. You cannot solicit the customers, means you cannot attract the customers of the firm. So if ABC Associates were doing a partnership, no, Mr. Aryan Kumar, you're not going to continue any business when once you have expelled the partner. Yes, Ritu Tiwari, which is your query? Okay, good. So, Mr. Samay Mantri, Surya Teja. Okay, good. You enjoyed the example, so now you will learn it, huh? That's nice. What is Ritu asking? So children, if 5 have agreed, so Ritu Tiwari, you simply have to see that if out of 10, 5 are agreeing, 5 are not agreeing, then it is not a majority. You have to take a decision. You have to at least convince one of the partners so that the decision can be taken. But in some critical cases, you have to take a call even if they are equal partners. Equal of them, 5 of them have said they have to be valid reason. If it is very important in the interest of the partnership firm, please throw that partner out of the firm. We don't want him to continue. Okay. Again, for expulsion, Miss Bhumika Chauhan is asking public notice. Shriya Moti is also asking. Children, notice is not, we are not talking about public notice over here. Please, why are you getting confused? Public notice का मतलब होता है कि हम public को बता रहे हैं कि अब हम इस firm में partner नहीं हैं. ये वाला जो notice है, ये clearly क्या कह रहा है? The partner to be expelled must be served with a notice. You will write a letter, Mr. A. Look, we are going to expel you from the firm. this is the reason and this is the notice that we are giving to. Please within 1 month come, or within 3 days come and represent yourself. Opportunity of being heard means come and represent yourself, that if you want to say anything for your safe side. Exactly the mother's example that I've just given you, sisters and brothers. So in that example, I didn't tell you that the sister is going and telling public. In the public, she will not be telling. She's just talking to her mother and telling that this is what happened in the house, and then mother called brother. So public notice means when you're outside, you're going and telling everyone that now he's no longer a part. All right. All right. So section 36 हम पहले complete कर लेते हैं. So section 36 says that you cannot use the firm's name ABC Associates for the partners in a firm, and now you're leaving. You cannot have the same firm's name, that is ABC Associates. You cannot use the solicit the customers means you cannot have the same customers. You will not go to the customers and you will tell them that, look, I was a partner in that firm. Now I've opened up my business. Why don't you come to me? So that means you're taking his client's note. So this is not allowed to be done. And if you do any such kind of restrictions have been put, it should be within the specified limits. You cannot have that within the whole country or within the whole state. You cannot do the business. The restrictions should specify that these are the limits within the 10 kilometers area, or maybe in particular sector, you cannot do the same kind of business. And also about the particular time period we did discuss last time. And if any profits are still to be given to the retiring partner, then he has the right to share the subsequent profits. If he's still part of the firm, if he's continuing the business with them, then interest at the rate of 6% per annum to be given. So any partner whose name has still not been removed, he is still doing the business with the firm. Subsequent profits, the firm is still earning the subsequent profits, or you have left the firm and you're doing such kind of similar kind of business, then interest at the rate of 6% per annum needs to be paid for any subsequent profits that you have earned after leaving from the firm. All right, I think test to knowledge, we have done all these points, and now we will be starting with the last chapter of Indian partnership, that is dissolution and registration of the firm. All right. So I hope everything is clear till now. Any doubts you can ask. All right. So now the fresh topic, the new topic, and the last topic that we are going to start is, can we readmit? Mr. Kevin, why would you like to readmit the expelled partner? You have expelled him. Why are you asking about this? Partner in profit, Ms. Shriya Modi, those are the partners who are having the profits in the firm. And yes, definitely, if he is known to the public, he is participating for the activities, he is even held liable for the activities which are profitable for the business. So he must give the public notice when he is leaving the firm. Soliciting the customers, Ms. Kavya, means it means that you cannot attract the customers of your old firm. So if you were partner, say Kavya, you were the partner with ABC Associates, and now ABCK Associates has now been still functioning, and you have left, Kavya has left the firm, and you just go and tell the customers that, look, I have started my own business, and earlier I was part of this firm, and you're trying to chase their customers, chase their clients, and you remove the business. They stop doing the business with ABC Associates and they start doing business with you. So such kind of things cannot be done. And if you try to earn any subsequent profits out of this, interest at the rate of 6% per annum has to be paid. Okay, Ashwini, आपका question क्या है? Definitely, any partner who has left the firm has to give a public notice. Any reason why you are leaving the firm, it has to be made clear to the public that now you are no longer for the partnership business. Okay. All right. Manisha, I hope solace meaning is now clear to all of you. Kavya and Manisha is also asking the meaning of solace. Solace means to attract the customers of the old firm. Revocation of continuing guarantee. Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Anushka Jaiswal, for reminding us for the same. Let us first complete the revocation of continuing guarantee. Let me take you to that chapter. So you can open up the study material, chapter 2, and we will complete the revocation of continuing guarantee also. So this Vishnu Chandrika and Chandrika Prasad Supreme Court judgment, I have told you last time that retirement does not mean that the partnership business will come to an end. Only the partner is retiring. Also, the expulsion of partner example, I was telling you, this is that example number 14, which you have to do from the study material. Let's do it together also. A, B, C are the partners in the partnership firm, and they were doing business for several years. Spouses of A and B fought in the ladies' club on their personal issue, and A's wife was hurt badly. So spouses of A and B means A and B की जो wives थी. Spouses means the wife of A and B. They had a fight in the ladies' club, and now A's wife is hurt, very badly hurt. उसको बहुत बुरा लगा कि B की wife ने मुझे गंदा बोला, and A got angry. So he convinced C that let's expel B from the partnership firm. So the matter went into so much seriousness that they wanted to expel the other partner from the firm. And now here, children, B was expelled without giving any notice from A and C. So examiner will ask, considering the provisions of Indian partnership, can you expel a partner from the firm? अब इसका सिंपल सा आंसर ना सिर्फ एक लाइन का आंसर है, नो मैम बिकॉज नोटिस वाज नॉट गिवन. यही बनेगा ना, एक सिंपल आंसर यही बनेगा, नो मैम ही कैन नॉट बी एक्सपेल्ड बिकॉज नोटिस वाज नॉट गिवन, एंड दैट आंसर इज आल्सो करेक्ट. But 6 marks question, if you simply write this line, I'm just going to give you half a mark. So what do you think we need to write? This is what we need to write. Study has given a beautiful elaborative answer also for all of you. So number 1 paragraph, you will write the concerned provision. A partner cannot be expelled unless majority of the partners have agreed and it is exercised in good faith and the contract existing between the partners. Therefore, power of expulsion must be given, contract must be existing, majority of partners are agreed, and then it is in good faith. If these conditions are not present, then the expulsion is not bona fide. So all of you just agreed that if these conditions are not there, the expulsion becomes void, it does not hold valid. But according to the test of good faith, expulsion of partner B is not valid. Why, children? Because the notice has to be given. So it has to be very much made sure that the notice were given. First of all, that the reasons where the wives are having personal fights is also a very personal reason. It is not a very business related problem. So you can avoid the expulsion on that very point also. But otherwise, if you are deciding to expel him, if you are really majorly disturbed because of that incident, then you first see that the agreement holds about the expulsion. Majority of the partners are agreeing and it is agreed in good faith. Then serve a notice to Mr. B that we are going to expel you and give him an opportunity of being heard. If such kind of things are not done, then the partner B expulsion is not valid. Okay, so insolvency we have done last time also. We will not be doing it now. Death of partner, remember this example. You have to do the examples also from the study material. You cannot leave the examples. Rights of outgoing partner also discussed. Subsequent profits. If any member has died or ceased to be a partner and the surviving partners are still continuing. So if the surviving partners are still continuing with the property of the firm without the final settlement, ये line बहुत जरूरी है. That means one of the partner, Mr. A, has died and we are still holding his property with us and we are doing the business with that property, then please give him certain kind of share to his legal heirs or representative at the rate of 6% per annum on the amount of share in the property in the firm. All right, so both these example number 16 and 17 are very interesting. They talk about the same things. Now let us talk about section 38. ये छोटा सा एक paragraph है, revocation of continuing guarantee, and 2 to 3 times in the last 10 years, this question has been asked in the exam. What do you understand by revocation of continuing guarantee? 2 marks question. And in that 2 marks, you simply have to write these 2 lines of the analysis. That's it. But why does this problem occur? Why 100 of you have written me, ma'am, please, we want to understand revocation of continuing guarantee. The reason being, this topic is very simple, but you need to understand what it is trying to say. Then only it becomes easy for you to learn it. So it says mere changes in the constitution of the firm will also revoke the guarantee given for the future transaction. So revoke means to cancel. Now, what is the meaning of guarantee? First of all, why do we face such problems related to, words, agency, indemnity, guarantee? So these are extended part of the Indian Contract Act only. So children, when you go to CA Inter, you have 3 more important acts which are part of your Indian Contract Act: Contract of Indemnity, Contract of Bailment, and Contract of Agency. So in CA Foundation, we have not included those contracts, but the basic terminology which comes out of the contract, that is guarantee indemnity, has been continuously used. Now let us understand first of all the meaning of the word guarantee. So guarantee का मतलब होता है किसी चीज के लिए कोई permission देना, guarantee देना, fix कर देना, which have been given by one party to another. So there was Mr. A who went to purchase certain goods from Mr. B, and Mr. B was really having a doubt that whether you will make my payment or not. And C, a very good friend of B, said, okay, fine, I will give a guarantee for Mr. A that if tomorrow he will not make the payment, I am there, don't worry. So this is a kind of a relationship in a guarantee, contract of guarantee, where one person is giving a guarantee for another person that tomorrow if he failed to pay 10,000 rupees, so say for example, he has purchased the goods for rupees 10,000. So tomorrow if A does not pay him 10,000, C will go and say, make the payment to B. He will say that I have given the guarantee, please don't say anything to Mr. A, I will make the payment. And later on, he will recover from Mr. A also. So such kind of guarantee where C is giving, a firm is also many a times giving a guarantee to an individual or maybe to another firm. So law says there was a firm PQR Associates who has given the guarantee to Mr. B that if A does not make any payment, I will pay for him. Now this firm, the guarantee that he has given will also come to an end if any of the partnership constitution changes. Let's say Mr. P has left the firm. Now the constitution of the firm has been changed, only Q and R are left. Therefore, all the guarantee for the future transactions, whatever purchases A made from B, our firm will no longer give you a guarantee. Such changes may occur by death, retirement, or introduction of a partner. So maybe P has died or P has retired. The other partners will stop giving him the guarantee for whatever they have decided earlier. Or maybe children, if some new partners introduced. So PQR were the earlier partners and now it is PQRS Associates. Therefore, the revocation of guarantee will also happen. A new form of organization has to be registered, has to be formed. And then the old guarantee, which was given by PQR Associates, will come to an end. All right, so this is the meaning of revocation of continuing guarantee. Revocation means to cancel. So all the guarantee that we have given for any of the transactions of the business, that guarantee will come to an end once the constitution of the firm changes. How does the constitution of the firm changes? When the partner is dying or retiring or somebody is joining, all these factors leads to the change in the constitution of the firm. All right, so the guarantee will also come to an end. Now let's start with the important topic. I will give you 2 minutes. If you just want to go through your previous chapter, relationship of partners, you can still have scroll down through the pages. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me your doubts so that we just start the fresh chapter. I'll just go through your doubts meanwhile. All right, children, revocation. I told you, Ms. Bhumika Chauhan, revocation means to cancel. So to put an end. Yes, Ashwini, promise guarantee is a kind of assurance or a promise given. Correct, Shruti. Yes, Mr. Suchang, you can write the revocation in the same way. Revocation basically means to put an end. Ashwini says revocation का मतलब हिंदी में मतलब खत्म हो जाना. तो जो भी guarantee firm ने दी थी, that guarantee will also come to an end. So if I have given the guarantee as a part of the firm that tomorrow if you need any kind of assurance, I have given to Mr. B that if Mr. A defaults in making the payment, don't worry, this firm is standing over here, we will make the payment. But now if one of my partners has left, whatever guarantee I have given, that will also come to an end. Somebody is saying voice is lagging. Somebody is saying it's clear. So is the voice actually lagging? Are you able to hear me, children, clearly? Yes, Mahima Jain, he will give a public notice as well. Shruti Pathak, solist meaning I've already explained. It means that you cannot attract the customers. Solist customers means to attract the customers of the old firm. This cannot be done. Miss Tiwari, Radhesham, even if the question is asked for 2 marks, so those 2 lines that I've explained you can give an example the way we have discussed in the class. That is sufficient. I hope this revocation point is now clear. I cannot see any other queries. Revocation by Anushka Jaiswal is asking the same. I hope now it's clear. Ankit Jai, I hope this point is now clear to you. Mahima Jain, I already answered your question. Thank you, Richa Kumari, Nikita, Ashwini, telling me that the voice is clear. Thank you so much, Aisha, Samina, Alfie Tangal. Thank you. Sometimes there is a network drop. All right, then might be happening from the back end. I don't know. All right. So now registration of firm. Tell me quickly, children, is it important and compulsory for the firm to get registered? Yes, Ms. Nidhi Yadav, it comes to an end when any of the partner is either leaving the firm or has died or has joined a new partner. In all these cases, the guarantee which has been given by the firm for all the future transactions means for all whatever purchases Mr. Ray will now make, we are not holding any guarantee for him. Okay, thank you, Ms. Tiwari. Good, you have understood now. All right, Missy. All right, good, Ritu. Okay, registration of firm is compulsory, yes or no? No, ma'am, it is not compulsory. This is what I told you on day 1. That is the major difference that we have with companies, children. In companies, we have to undergo so much of the compliance work, so much of the detailed analysis has to be done. But under firm, the registration is not at all compulsory. So registration of firm is optional. But section 58 says, if you have decided to get your firm registered, you want to eat up the benefits that is given to the register firm, then please make sure that you file a statement, which is an application in the prescribed form, and it must have these 6 kind of details. So these 6 details are very, very important, which has been given under section 58, that if you're filing an application with the registrar, who is the registrar with whom you have to file? So different states have different registrar of firms. So if you have opened up a firm in Delhi, then you will go to the Delhi registrar. If you are opening a firm in somewhere in Punjab, then you have to go to the Punjab registrar. If you have decided to do business in Bombay, then you have to get registrar of firms with in Maharashtra. So every state will have their own registrar of firms. So you have to specifically, you cannot say that I'm sitting in Chandigarh and I will get myself registered with the Delhi registrar of firms. You have to have a separate in your area which registrar of firms is available. You have to get yourself registered in that very particular area only. So number 1 statement in the prescribed form means an application needs to be filed. So when we file an application, it has to have certain terms and conditions and certain other details needs to be filled. So what are those details? So the application has to be filed with the registrar of the firms. So it should have the following details that is mentioned over here, 1 to 6, that is firm's name. So if I've decided to have a name, HK Associates, I should include that name. Whatever name you have decided, we've just seen the study material. There's certain words like Crown, Empress, Express, these kind of words cannot be included. You cannot have any, usage of the national symbols, which are the country's main patronage that are holding. You cannot have those kind of names in your firm's name. So whatever name you are deciding to register, you have to tell them which name you want yourself to be registered with. Your place of business, if you're having office in Delhi, please mention we have 1 office in Delhi. You have 5 offices in Shimla. You will always mention about that also. So whatever place of business is, you should write it down in the application. And then you should tell the principal place of business that although I have 5 offices in Shimla, but I will be doing my business from Delhi office only. So whichever is the principal base should also be mentioned. Date when the partners joined the firm. So if the partners have joined the firm in Jan, Feb, March, whenever the partners are joining the firm, that date should also be mentioned. What does it help us in telling the date of the partners? Let me test your knowledge. इससे हमें क्या पता लगता है the date when the partners have joined the firm? What do we come to know? So if a partner has joined in January, yes, ma'am, it's important to get the firm register. Vaishnavi, Pramod, Shruti, Surya, Mahima, all of you have said it's important. No, Mahima Jain is correct. It is not compulsory. It is not compulsory. It is compulsory in Maharashtra, but not all the states where it should be done. See, Miss Tiwari, your answer is absolutely correct. So the best answer is it is not compulsory, but yes, it should be done. Why it should be done? Because in the next slide, I'm going to tell you why, because why it is important. It is not necessary. Manisha says, nahi ma'am, zaruri nahi hota. Good. Which city? Ashwini is asking, ma'am, you are from which city? So I'm from Chandigarh. Okay. It is compulsory in Maharashtra, not in all states. That is correct. Anushka Jaiswal, registration of firm, section 5D, to know their liability. Very good, Mr. Aryan Kumar. To know their liability. This is what I've asked you. Why do we need to mention the date? So the dates needs to be mentioned very clearly because they help us to decide when do you become liable. If I have joined in February, will I be liable for the actions of the firm in January? No, I will not, because I am joining the firm in February only. So date is very important, just to note down when does all the partners become liable. Because he's not liable. Very good, Miss Samina, because he's not liable for the acts of the firm. Very good, children. You have picked up the things so nicely. When I was a student, I used to take so much time to remember and answer the things, but you are just picking it up so nicely. That means you're really revising your work. How old the firm is? Okay, Mahima, that is also correct. To know about the admission retirement, that is also correct. When the deed is filed. When the firm is reconstituted. Yes, Mrs. Aisha, that's correct. Partners join to calculate the correct profits. All right, Ms. Bhumika, that can also be taken as a valid reason, but generally the dates are mentioned just to make sure that when do we hold you liable for the profit, for the liabilities for the outsiders, how and when you become liable to the outsiders in the partnership firm. Yes, that is also correct. The date helps us to tell when the partnership deed was finalized. Okay, and then the full names and addresses, you should know from where all the partners are. You are joining the hands with someone. Somebody's from another place, somebody's from Madras, somebody's from Chennai, somebody's from Gangtok, somebody's from Rajasthan. So please write down the full names and addresses from which places do they belong. And duration of partnership, very, very important. If the duration of partnership is given, then ma'am, it is fixed partnership. And if duration is not given, then children, it is partnership at will. What kind of business you're going to do, whether it is a particular business or general business, all these details should be mentioned in the application. Now, what is the role of the registrar of firms? Section 59 बता रहा है बहुत simple role है. उसने क्या करना है, आपने application दिया है. अब मेरा role है, the registrar is satisfied that all the provisions of 58 are complied. What are the provisions of 58? That means all these 6 details are correct. They have been nicely filed. And now I will record an entry in the register. So registrar firms के पास एक registers पड़े होते हैं और उसमें मैं entry कर दूंगी ABC Associates firm is now a registered firm. So now I will file the statement, means I will staple the statement, I will keep your application and I will make an entry in the register of firms. This is how the certificate of registration is issued. बहुत simple process है. So tomorrow you become chartered accountants and you want to register your firm, go to section 58, file an application, fill those 6 details, go to the registrar of firms, make the points valid. Registrar is satisfied, everything has been filed nicely, all the application is correct. He will simply make an entry or a record in his register. This is known as register of firms. And then he will file your statement and issue you a registration certificate. This is how generally the registration certificate looks like. It will give the act, it will give your entire details. It is certified that firm name Cargo Pack is now having its head office is registered with us. So all these kind of details are given and a registration certificate which looks like this is given to the firm. So when is the registration complete? Number 1, section 58 compliance. Number 2, recording of statement. When I've made the entry, that means I've recorded a statement in my register. Section 59 needs to be seen. And finally, a certificate of registration is given. That is firm company registration. So once we get this thappa, that means registration of firm is complete and done. Okay. So let's take a small break over here and then we will continue further. Let's take a small break. All right, students. So you all have understood how the registration of firm is done, and there was fairly not any one queries also. Only Bharat Chaudhary is telling I am from Jodhpur. So great, good. And Mehak Roy is again asking Unit 2, Unit 3, all your notes along with your tests, MCQs will be uploaded on the portal. So definitely you download them and you can start making your notes for second and third chapter as well. So now what happens for the consequences of the non-registration of the firm? If you're not registered, then what is the trouble that is going to occur? This is what we are going to understand. So many of you have written, ma'am, yes, it is not compulsory. But then if it's not compulsory, you can write it down. Consequences of non-registration also means the advantages given to the, or you can say the disadvantages given to the non-registered firm. So what are the disadvantages given to the non-registered firm? Okay, so if you're not registered, what are the disadvantages? What will happen? What will be wrong with you if you are not a registered firm? So all these disadvantages we have to discuss, or you can take it other way around. What are the advantages for the for registration? So iska jo ulta hoga means a suit can be filed only if you are a registered firm. So we will understand all these consequences as a disadvantage. Disadvantage means now it is not fruitful if you are not registered. What is the disadvantage? Number one, no suit can be filed by the firm or other co-partners against the third party. So what is the meaning of filing a suit? Filing a suit means filing a case. So number one thing is that you cannot file a case against any other co-partner, or you cannot file a case as a firm yourself against the third parties. Now say for example, your firm is not a registered firm and there was a dealer from whom you have to take a payment of 5 lakh rupees. Now this dealer, Mr. D, is really bothering you and he finally refused to make the payment. So you did a lot of business for him. ABC Associates was the firm as a partnership, associates. You were the firm and you have done a lot of business for Mr. D and 5 lakh was the payment which was due. And your firm is not a registered firm. Can you take up an action against Mr. D? Can you file a case against Mr. D? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? What do you think? Can you file a case against Mr. D? Can we take any action against Mr. D? Can we file a case? So no, ma'am, we cannot file a case. Why? Because it is very important to register yourself before filing any case in case you want to take any action, the registration is very, very compulsory. Now, since you're not a registered firm, see such a major drawback that you have. You cannot file any action against Mr. D. Mr. D is the third party. So who is the third party? The people with whom we are dealing, the suppliers, the dealers, the bankers, all these kind of people are known as third party. So now you cannot file any action. Why? Because the firm is not registered. Mr. Rabish says, yes, ma'am, we can file. No, you cannot file. You cannot take any action. In case of RN Kumar, correct. LP Thangal, Manisha, Abhishek, Swati, Tanmeet, M. Gauda. Mr. Gopal Mishra is now wishing good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hope you are attending the class on timely. No, ma'am, what does English law means here? Miss Tiwari, when we go to that point, then you will understand. But as of now, simply understand this thing. All of you are correct, children. Why? Because, okay, Ravish, I hope now you have understood. If the firm is registered, then yes, excellent, Ms. Ritu Tiwari. That's why I said the reverse of this is the advantages of registration. She says, ma'am, if the firm would have been registered, then can they file? Definitely, then you can file a case. 5 lakh rupees is such a huge amount and you want to recover. And this Mr. D has refused. And see, you can't even go to the court. You can't even file a case. You can't even take an action against him. And it has become such a huge liability for you. How will you recover the money? So if you are a registered firm, you have this benefit. कितना टाइम लगता है कि एप्लीकेशन सेक्शन 58 में जाना है, डिटेल्स भरनी है, 59 में रजिस्टर ऑफ फर्म्स में एंट्री करानी है, रजिस्टर करा लो यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. सो बट इट इज नॉट कंपल्सरी, बट दिस इज द ड्रॉबैक फॉर द नॉन रजिस्ट्रेशन. दिस इज व्हाट दिस चैप्टर टेल्स अस. द फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द चैप्टर टेल्स अस अबाउट दिस पॉइंट. ठीक है. सो can the partners take an action? No, ma'am. The co-partners can also not take an action. So neither A or B or C, they cannot take any action against Mr. D. ABC Associates, the firm, can also not take an action because you are not a registered firm. No relief of partners for the set-off of claims. So there was few partners and they have certain claims which are due to each other. So now no set-off is also not allowed. So if you have to pay to the dealers 10,000 rupees and the same dealer has to make you a payment of 8,000, so you will first pay 10,000 and recover 8,000. What is the meaning of set-off, children? To knock off the claims. Generally, what will happen, say for example, Rabish has to pay me 10,000 rupees and I have to pay him 8,000 rupees. So what can be done? I will just recover 2,000 rupees. This is what is known as knocking out. 8,000 तो मैंने चलो देने ही है, तो आप मुझे, you just pay me 2,000 rupees. All right. So this kind of set-off of claim is not allowed. It means that now as a partner, I will make my full payment of 8,000 rupees. Rabish pays me 10,000 whenever he wants to pay. That is his headache. That is not my headache. But I have to pay 8,000 rupees. I cannot say that since he has to pay me money, so I will just wait for my 2,000 rupees. Set-off of claims is not allowed. No relief is given. No benefit is given to the partner for the set-off of claims. All right. Yes, Mr. Suchang, it's better to get registered. Great. Cannot even claim damages, Miss Bhumika. Breach of contract, what happens? That is a separate story. How you claim damages, how you take the actions against. But whether a case can be filed in the court, no, ma'am, it cannot be filed if you are not registered. No, Alfit Uncle, it is not illegal at all. So registration gives you certain benefits. Non-registration does not make it illegal. You can continue the firm even if you're not registered. So only, yes, Patigiri, 2,000 rupees, but if I'm not registered firm, then I cannot recover the money. I will have to make the payment and wait from the payment from his side. Ravish is saying, ma'am, but I don't have any money. It's okay when I'm not coming for the recovery. So don't worry. Set-off is a settlement. Very good, Bhumika Chauhan. Excellent. Set-off means the settlement of the claims. Miss Nikita, if a new partner comes, fresh registration is required. Very nice and very valid point. This is what the case study will going to tell you. Definitely new registration will be required, but let me just complete the non-registration first. Mr. Arun Kumar, whether you are getting any bill receivable or it is a bill dishonored, we are here simply talking about filing of a case. If you are not registered firm, then Arun Kumar, you cannot go and file a case against the third party. Aggrieved party cannot bring any legal action against the other partner. Now, there was a partner, Mr. A, who was having a major fight with Mr. B. And now they're going to wind up the firm, they're going to dissolve the firm, and A wants to take up an action against Mr. B. So much of kind of disturbance has happened, and A wants to file an action. B is taking all the profits home. He's not listening to us. And can Mr. A take a legal action? Law says legal action bhi nahi le sakte. If you are not an aggrieved party, means angry party, जिसको गुस्सा आया है, जिसके साथ बुरा हुआ है, that party cannot even take a legal action against the other partner or the firm. Why? Because you are not registered firm. So even if you're facing such kind of disturbances, you cannot file any action against the firm. Can third party sue the firm? Can third party file an action against us? Yes, ma'am. Third party can still take an action. यही Mr. D का पैसा अगर नहीं आया, if this Mr. D wants to recover something, he will not ask you anything. He will simply file a case against you. Whether you are a registered firm or you are a non-registered firm, third party can still take up an action against you. Scary. We can't take action against other partner also. We can't take action against third party also. Settlement of claims is also not allowed to us. And this third party can shoot us anytime with a case filing. He's not actually shooting you, he's filing a case. So he can still sue the firm anytime. This is how you have to learn it. So children, things become very simpler when you make up stories and create it and put it in the back of your mind. It becomes simpler. Now you're finding it simple. It's not very tough. Only these 4 points you have to remember regarding registration. If I asked you what is the benefit given to you if you're a registered firm, ma'am, we can take an action against third parties. We can take an action against other partners. We means as a partner. Partners are also allowed for the setup of the claims. And what happens if you're not registered firm? We cannot file any action against the third parties. Partner cannot set off the claims. Partners cannot file legal action against each other. And third parties can still sue the firm. So this is the benefit given to the third parties. If any of the partners is creating any trouble for you, you don't have to go and check out your whether they are registered or not. You simply file a case against them. Nobody's stopping you. You're given the liberty. Okay, so let us read from the study material. My few friends are facing problem in the content written in the study also. So we will take up each and every line of study material also. Don't worry. So this is what we have discussed. Section 58 tells you about the things that should be included. These are the lines which are written over here, children. What all should not be included in the name of the firm? Crown, emperor, empire, imperial. I'm not saying this, law is saying this. So if you ask me, ma'am, why? So these are the terminologies which are used with the king and queen kind of thing. So you are not becoming any king and queen by opening up a partnership firm. You're just a normal individual. So you're prohibited from using such kind of terminology. And if you really feel like including such kind of words, you have become chartered accountants and you want to open up royal CA firms as a associates as a firm, then please take the sanction and approval of my government. You have to touch the patronage of government because you are trying to use such kind of words, and sanction or approval of government is must. Except where the state government signifies its consent to use as a part of forms in writing. So either you take their approval. So once the state government has given you his approval in writing, then please feel free to use such words. Otherwise, you are prohibited to use such kind of government patronage related words. Any alteration, इस लाइन को आप very very important mark करोगे. मैं आपको हमेशा बोलती हूँ सेक्शन में you simply go to read analysis, so that is sufficient. Read the analysis, it's always easier for you. And this is very, 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 very important. Any subsequent alteration in the name, place, constitution may occur during continuance should also be registered. So the first paragraph where we were talking section 58 and 59, we were talking about the getting the firm registered. So now if you have registered your firm as ABC Associates and any subsequent means baad mein. Alteration means changes. So any changes occurred in the name of the firm. Earlier it was PQR Associates. Now I want to make it MNO Associates. Don't you need, there is a need to tell the registrar of firms? Definitely, ma'am. We were PQR Associates. Now our market people know us by PQR Associates. Now we are becoming MNO Associates. Please file a fresh registration application and tell the registrar of firms to strike off your previous name and register you with the new name. So any change in constitution, very nice. Somebody was mentioning about this point. MNO Associates, P is joining as a partner. Constitution of firm changed. Earlier there were 3 partners, now there are 4 partners. So if any such changes in the constitution of the firm is happening, then also please inform the registrar of firms. You make a fresh registration has to be obtained. And once everything is compiled and entry is recorded, you immediately get the words registered after your name. MNO registered firm. Tabhi pata lagega na ki you have all those benefits. So the words registered are added after your name. And late registration on payment of penalty, if you are not filing the application, if the details are not given or delivered within the time limit, where is the time limit mentioned? Time limit is given under section 58, 1A. It is silent over here, so no need to go into details. Simply, if examiner asks you what is the penalty, ma'am, 100 rupees per year of delay penalty has to be paid if the application is not filed within the time given under section 58, 1A. सेक्शंस वगैरह आपको सीए फाउंडेशन में नहीं पूछे जाते हैं, ना ही आपसे मैंडेटरी माने जाते हैं, बट चिल्ड्रन व्हेन यू ग्रो अप एंड यू गो टू सीए इंटर, सेक्शंस हैव टू बी done. Okay, again this is analysis of the same penalty section. Section 69 में हमने ये सारी बातें डिस्कस कर ली हैं. If you are not registered, you cannot file a case. So in other words, only a registered firm can file a case against the third party, and the person suing have been in the register of firms as partners in the firm. Test ले लूं आप लोगों का फटाफट से. Okay. Quickly, you have to answer me this question. So all my students know by now that if the firm is not registered, ma'am, we will not file a case. So there were 3 partners, ABC Associates, and they are good partners. They have attended my lecture and they knew that it is, although it is optional, but ma'am taught us that you cannot file a case against third party. So let us get ourselves registered. So they got themselves registered under section 58 and section 59 and took the certificate of registration from the registrar of firms. ठीक हो गया. So ABC Associate, 3 partners, they have got themselves registered. They admitted a new partner, Mr. D. So they were registered in Jan 2023. And they have taken a new partner, Mr. D, in the month of March 2023. There was a dealer, Mr. E, who is regularly dealing with the firm. And there was certain amount which was due from this Mr. E. And he said that I'm not going to make you the payment. He refused the payment. He breached the contract. He is not fulfilling the things that were required to be done. And he made a refusal. He made a breach. And A and D went for the meeting with Mr. E and they said, we want the money. He said, I will not pay you. So angry Mr. A and Mr. E filed a case against him. Definitely, ma'am, they can file a case because it's a registered firm. So they can take up any action against the third party. So my question to all of you is, can A and E file a case, A and D file a case against Mr. E, the third party, because it's a registered firm? Can we file a case? Yes, Ms. Bhumika, third party can take an action. That's great. So tell me, children. Exactly, Shruti Pathak, if you're not registered, there's a risk. Third party can take an action. That's correct. Yes, Ms. Richa Kumari, your understanding is bilkul correct. So you have to tell me, children, that can Mr. D file an action against Mr. E? Yes or no, ma'am, with reasons. Tanmeet Kaur, yes, that's correct. It's better to get yourself registered. Miss Tiwari, Radhesham, no, you have to see whether the names should not be similar. Even when you open up a company, you have to see this thing. An application has to be filed with a new name. So the registrar of firms, that is why he tried to check you that whether they are the 2 firms registered with the same name, then he will correct the error and he will say that section 58 has not been complied. Almost all of you have said, yes, ma'am, they can take up an action. Miss Surya Kumari, clapping for you. No, ma'am, because D has not been registered as a partner while the registration of firm. Excellent, Miss Surya Kumari. New firm has to be seen. Ashwani Prakash, great. Others, Bhumika, Mahima, Richa, Abhishek, Pramod, Kavya, Priyanka, all of you have said, yes, ma'am, they can file a case. Wrong. Children, I just read this line in other words and then I picked up an example. तो क्या आपने ये line दोबारा पढ़ी? मैम ने क्यों example लिए? क्योंकि यहाँ पे क्या लिखा हुआ है? A registered firm can file a suit. Yes, ma'am, ABC Associates is a registered firm. They can take up an action. And the person suing should have been in the register of firms. Did I tell you that I made an entry in the register of firms? Did I obtain a fresh registration? I was silent upon this. That means I have not made a fresh registration. If you're assuming that fresh registration is done, then please write it down that we have assumed. But the correct answer was, ma'am, Mr. D cannot take up an action against Mr. E because the person who is filing against, his name should be entered in the register of firms. He should also be registered. So please write down a very important point, mark an asterisk over here in your study material or the notes where you're making. Whenever a new partner is introduced in the firm, whenever a new partner is introduced in the firm, a fresh registration has to be obtained. A fresh registration has to be obtained. Miss Manisha, yes, when registration gets complete, then you can get it, you can file a case. Shubham Mangla, all right. Ashwini, good. Nidhi, Shriya, G. Subhana. Yes, that's correct. Miss Krishna, Tungala, correct. Okay, Arpi Shah, you were also correct. He cannot because after his joining. So it has to be registered. That is very, very important. And we cannot file a case. New registration has to be done. So that is what we just discussed. Mr. Vadekar Vapasaya, that's also great. I hope you all have written this that when new partner joins the firm, a fresh registration has to be obtained. Correct. Second point, सबको clear है, setup of claim is not allowed, third party can take an action, and the third point is also clear that the partners cannot file an action against each other. However, they can file a suit for dissolution of firms or for the accounts of the firm. Again, very, very important line. See, law doesn't try to make it simpler for us. It always has exceptions in it. So कह रहे देखो गुस्सा आया तो unregistered हो तो केस तो नहीं फाइल करना. But feel free to dissolve the firm. What is the meaning of dissolution of the firm? To close the firm, to wind up the firm. We're going to start with dissolution also. And so one of the partners is very angry with Mr. B and told us you cannot take an action. So we are not a registered firm. So they could not take up any action against the other partner. Fair enough. But can they dissolve the firm? Can he ask for the realization of his share in the firm's property? Can he say that give me my share back? Can he ask for the dissolution? Yes, ma'am. We have learned about retirement of partner. We have learned about partner leaving the firm. We have learned about expulsion of partner. We were never talking about the registration over there. So you can still ask for the dissolution of the firm. Such a person may sue for the dissolution. Means for dissolution of firm, if you're asking, registration is not compulsory. So let us understand the other way around. That means these are the 4 points, children, very much clear that these are the disadvantages of non-registering. Many of you have agreed also and written to me, ma'am, after understanding this, we think that registered firm is better. Good. That means you have understood these 4 points. But there are certain exceptions which says, okay, even if you're not registered, you still have these benefits. What did I say? Even if you're not registered, you still have these things still remain over there. Third party can file a case against us. So this is not a benefit for us, but iska registration se koi lena dena nahi. Mr. E wants to come and drag Mr. D or Mr. ABC to the court. Any person he can drag to the court. He will not say that D was a new partner. Have you registered him or not? So third party have full right to sue the firm or any of the partners. Can the partners ask for the dissolution of firm? Yes, ma'am, you just explained this point to us in the third point. Dissolution of firm has nothing to do with your registration or non-registration. Even if you're not registered, the partner can say, please, settlement of my accounts have to be done. I want to leave the organization. I'm not very happy with you, or let's wind up this firm. Realization. What happens on the dissolution? Profit and loss account. You all have been making account, student. So on the dissolution of firm, we do realization of assets and liabilities. We settle the accounts of the partners, we sell off all the assets of the partnership firm, and whatever money is earned from that, we utilize it to pay off the liabilities. This is what is done on dissolution, right? So settlement of accounts means we're disposing of all the assets and we pay off the liabilities. For this very purpose thing, it is not mandatory to have registration or non-registration. It's not problem. Power of an official assignee or the receiver of court to release the property of insolvent partner. Who is an insolvent partner? One of the partner, Mr. A, has been declared insolvent. That means his assets are not sufficient to dispose of the liabilities. Then who is appointed? Official assignee is appointed. Official assignee will sell off his property and pay off the liabilities. Do you need the registration for such kind of thing? The law says no. Registration has nothing to do with your insolvency. If you're declared insolvent, official assignee will come, he will release your property, means he will sell off your property and will take an action, means things. All right, so official assignee वाला task में भी registration compulsory नहीं. पहले fifth point कर लेते हैं. Suit filed by the legal representatives of heirs of the deceased partner. So there was Mr. A who died. Mrs. A, the heirs of the deceased partner, the legal representative wife of Mr. A, want to see the accounts of the firm because she wants the correct share of profits. Can she take up a case against the firm even if the firm is not registered? Ma'am, yes or no? Can wife of Mr. A, that is Mrs. A, wants to take up an action? Miss Shruti Pathak, it is absolutely fine to get confused. That is why I'm here to solve your confusion. I hope now you understood what was the mistake. Okay, good. So now you have to tell me, children, again, let's do a brainstorming. When we do such kind of examples, the line which is written over there becomes very much clear in your mind. Can we do so? Somebody saying, ma'am, voice is breaking. Please confirm me, children. IT help. Jay sir, is my voice clear? Is it breaking in between? Excuse me. It's fine now. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. All right. In between, children, there was some network issue. I hope now it's clear. Mr. Arun Kumar, okay, he's unable to pay the debts. She can take care. Yes, she can file a case against the firm. Mr. Arun Kumar, very good, excellent. M. Gowda, yes, ma'am, he can. Now you have read the statement carefully. That's why you're answering me good. Okay. Rabish says, yes, ma'am, why not? She can sue or file a case. No, ma'am, she isn't a partner. Miss Krishna says, no, ma'am, she is not a partner. Why will she file a case? Okay, abhi aapki query resolve karte hain. Kavya is correct. Ritu is correct. M. Gowda is correct. Yes, ma'am, Mrs. A can take up an action. This is not what I am saying. This is what is written under the exceptions. It says that legal representatives of the firm can still file an action for the property of the deceased, even if you are not registered. It has nothing to do with the registration. Very good, Alfie Tangal, Rishita, Priyanka, Ashwini, Aisha, Rabesh, Ritu, Tiwari, Miss Tiwari, Shriya. There are so many Tiwaris, children. Ritu Tiwari, Tiwari Radhesham, Shriya Tiwari. One another Shriya also we have. Shruti, Tamanna, Rishita, then me. Good. Yes, ma'am, he can take up an action. That is great. So somebody who was asking, no, ma'am, she cannot. I forgot the name. Ashwini is saying, no, wife never look into the accounts book. Okay, I will make you clear, children. Yes, ma'am, the legal heirs can, definitely. So all those who are saying, no, ma'am, he cannot take an action. Why we are talking about this, children? I am trying to tell you over here that even if your firm is not registered, then also you can take up an action. Why you need to take up an action? Say, for example, Mr. A died. B and C continued the firm. And they were very clever and very cunning. They said, we will not legally, whatever the share of profits and whatever the assets belong to Mr. A have to be given to the legal representatives or the heirs of the deceased. Heirs of the deceased means who all are his ancestrals or who all were related to him, the legal people, the legal represent wife, spouse, and this children. It has to be given to them. But B and C refused to do that. They said, we will keep these profits and we will earn more and more profits out of his property. So don't you think they are doing something illegal? And Mrs. A will get angry. She will file a case against you. She will definitely take up an action. So then that's why I'm asking, can she take up an action? Say, for example, you were not a registered firm. So law says, please go ahead, Mrs. A. Your money is not being given. Even this firm is not registered. Still, you can take up an action. Law has given the liberty to the legal representatives of the deceased partner. Deceased partner means partner who has died. So his representatives need to be paid back the share. The accounts of the firm has to be seen. जो release the property means उनका जो भी property में हिस्सा था वो वापस देना जरूरी है. तो अगर आपको नहीं मिलता है तो आप case file कर सकते हो against the firm. And the fourth point, right to sue or claim is set off if the value of suit is less than ₹100. So where I was to pay 10,000 rupees and I was to recover 10,000 and pay 8,000. So you all children told me 2,000 claim cannot be set off, but 100 rupees, up till 100 rupees setting of claim is allowed. So if I have to pay 110 and I have to recover 100, then I will simply pay ₹10. So छोटा सा एक claim उसने allow करा है law में कि up till ₹100 value, it is allowed to do the setup of claims, but beyond 100, it cannot be done. All right, children. So with this, we come to an end of registration, and A&N Company is registered as a firm. You will read it on your own. It is very, very simple case law. ABC are partner. A died. Now, one of the partner is dying. Do we need to take a fresh registration? The answer is no. Why? Because the partners B and C are already registered. So it says, in case of a registered firm, the business is carried on. A suit can be filed by the remaining partners without notifying to the registrar of firms. So please remember, children, if one of the partner has died, we don't need to take a fresh registration. But if one of the partner has been admitted, नीचे यही लिखा है आपका. If one of the partner has been admitted, then do you need to take a fresh registration? Yes, ma'am, you have explained us in the above example. Then yes, you have to take up a fresh registration. Why? Because the fact has to be notified to the registrar that whosoever this person, Mr. D, who has joined with us as a partner, he is also working with us as a firm. Therefore, firm cannot sue the third new partner also if his name is not entered. So if you want to take up any action, so if the firm wants to take up any action, a fresh registration has to be obtained. So this entire case study which has been written over there, iska crux aapne 2 लाइनों में लिख लेना है. Number 1 point, if the partner has died, fresh registration is not compulsory. Remaining partners can take up an action. Point number 2, if a new partner has joined, a fresh registration is compulsory in order to take up an action against the firm. But please read in that example very carefully. It was a registered firm. A and company is a registered firm. If you're anyways not registered, then there is no such question whether you have to take a fresh registration or not. Then you know that section 69 you have learned that then you cannot take up an action against the third party. All right. You want to do these MCQs and we have to complete dissolution also, but let me first complete the dissolution, then you will do the MCQs. Okay, dissolution means discontinuance. Now I will not go into the queries, children, because I want to finish the syllabus first. Children, dissolution of firm is very, very simple. Can you see this picture? We were holding hands together. We were having mutual faith, trust, confidence, mutual rights, liabilities, implied authority. Together, we were working for last 4-5 days. We have been partners with each other. And today we'll get separate. This is what is going to happen in a relationship. That means now we're going to wind up the firm. We're going to close the firm. Can you see the wall which has broken in between? All the partners have started pinpointing. They have started saying that I'm not happy with you. They're having sad faces. They are pointing to each other and others are just thinking what to do now. So that means the relationship of partnership has come to an end between them. So that association, that relationship that they have built because of which they were doing business, now they no longer have that relationship. So dissolution means discontinuance of partnership between all the partners of the firm. So there are 2 types of dissolution, dissolution of firm and dissolution of partners. They have taken their face on the other side and they're just saying, going apart to each other, pack their bags and saying goodbye to each other. And we are not having that kind of dissolution. We'll be meeting again. But this is what partnership dissolution generally means. So there are 2 types of dissolution, dissolution of firm and dissolution of partnership, where the entire discontinuance. Now, this one is dissolution of firm, where everything has come to an end. We just don't want to do the business together. The entire partnership between all the partners is ending. However, where only one of the partner is coming, joining, D is joining, new partnership is formed, E is leaving, a retirement is happening, remaining partners are doing the partnership. This is just the reconstitution of the firm. So when we talk about the reconstitution of the firm, then we are only talking about the dissolution of partnership. When we talk about dissolution of firm, A, B, C, 3 partners, relation between all the partners ends, firm get dissolved. But where there are 3 partners and D is joining, now only dissolution of ABC associates will happen and a new partnership ABCD associates will be formed. So partners coming and going, it is dissolution of partnership. Partnership ending completely. Here the word ends is used. Then it is dissolution of firm. It is completely closed. And when firm gets closed, it is winding up of the firm. You realize the assets means you sell off all the assets of the business and you settle the liabilities. And what do you do in dissolution of partnership? You only do the re-evaluation of assets and liabilities. Mr. D will be bringing his assets from the home. ABC has their assets. The assets would have depreciated. New assets are coming. Entire re-evaluation of assets. Re-evaluation account हम बनाते हैं ना. अगर डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ पार्टनरशिप का क्वेश्चन आता है तो हम अकाउंट्स में रिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ अकाउंट्स बनाते हैं. अगर डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ फर्म आता है फिर हम रियलाइजेशन ऑफ एसेट्स करते हैं. सेलिंग ऑफ एसेट्स, हियर वी आर जस्ट डूइंग द रिवैल्यूएशन. A firm can be dissolved by the order of court also. So whenever the firm gives the order, he is giving the order for dissolving the firm. But dissolution of partnership is not ordered by the court. Does court ever come and tell you that please let Mr. C retire? Or will court come and tell you Mr. D has to be expelled? Or will court come and tell you that, one of the partners should join the firm? Court will never interfere with your dissolution of partnership. But dissolution of firm, there are section 44 severe cases where the court can also come and tell you that please close this firm. You cannot continue as a partnership firm. So dissolution of firm means dissolution of entire partnership, completely finish. But dissolution of partnership may or may not involve the dissolution of firm. The firm can still continue, only the partnership relationship is changing here. It involves the final closure of books. Here, it is not the final closure of books. We are just changing the names of the partners, changing the number of partners. Clear dissolution of firm and dissolution of partnership differences. 6 marks question can straight away come. This is entire story that you have to write if such kind of question come in the exams. Now, the very important topic, that is modes of dissolution, your last page of study material of this chapter, which says how dissolution of firm happens. So there are 4 cases, 40, 41, 42, 43, where the dissolution happens without the order of court. Section 44 will tell you where the court has to come and tell you that please dissolve your firm. So section 40, first of all, tells you how the dissolution happens by agreement. So the firm may be dissolved with the consent of all the partners or according to the contract between the partners. So by an agreement, section 40 is very, very simple. It says partners agreed to join the firm and make the firm. Now the partners have made an agreement. Let's wind up the firm. Simple. Finish. They will not be liable for any actions of the firm after this dissolution has happened. So it depends upon the contract and also from the closure of business or final accounts. So we have decided to close the final accounts. We have decided to wind up the business. So you and me decided, we gave consent to each other. We made an agreement. Simple. Dissolution by agreement can happen. Compulsory dissolution. Section 41 tells you when does it become very much compulsory to dissolve the firm. Say, for example, ABC Associates, they made the firm and did really good business, but now their business has become unlawful. They have started dealing in drugs. So dealing in drugs is an illegal business, unlawful hai, nahi allowed hai. So now section 41 will applicable and they have to dissolve the firm. Or they were in dealing and purchasing the business in a chemical, a drug which was a chemical to be used in the medicines. Now law has passed a ban on the trading of this particular chemical. So there was a firm which was doing the business and they had a chemical usage in that. And now this particular chemical, it is considered as a very harmful drug which should not be consumed. The law has put up a ban on this chemical. Now the firm's business has become unlawful. उनकी कोई गलती नहीं थी, but law में changes होने की वजह से their business has become unlawful. Therefore, they have to get the firm compulsorily dissolved. So here compulsory dissolution is must. Section 41 tells you certain contingencies. So what is contingencies? Emergencies, situations in which the contract between the parties come to an end. And this is what you all are going to answer me. Children, if the firm was constituted for a fixed period, then on the expiry of the term, the firm will come to an end, yes or no? What kind of partnership is this? What kind of partnership is when I say that the firm will come to an end on the expiry of partners on the term? Aryan Kumar is saying breakup between partners. Wow, I like this. That's good. No, Aryan Kumar, we don't have to notify about the death of partner. This is what I made you write it down also. Yes, Ashwini, only the legal representatives. Yes, Shriya Tiwari, that's correct. Manisha, point 3, which point 3? I cannot go back now because we have to complete the syllabus. Ayushi is asking the meaning of insolvent partner. I told you in the beginnings in sale of goods, we are doing the meaning of insolvent. Insolvent means when your assets are not sufficient, you don't have that much money, you have gone into losses, you don't have that much estate in order to pay off your liabilities. Okay, now you're giving me the answer for this. It is a fixed partnership. Excellent, all of you. Very nice. All right. Yes, Ms. Tanmeet Kaur, if new partner is joining, a fresh registration has to be taken. But before that, if you have been dealing or filing a case, then yes, it's absolutely fine. You can do anything before he has joined. It is partnership for a fixed period. Very good. And second वाली भी बता दो मुझे कौन सी partnership है. If it was constituted for one or more adventures, then on the completion of that adventure, it will come to an end. What is the name of this partnership? Second one, quickly. Very good, Kavya V. Definitely it become partnership at will later on the expiry of term. Shruti, Darshan, Nikita, Aditi, Nidhi, Mahima, all of you are correct. Shreyas, Alfie Tangal, Tiwari, Mr. Sachang. Mr. Sachang, yes, now it becomes a particular partnership. Very good, children. So the first one was partnership for a fixed period. Second is particular partnership. So all these are covered under section 42, that once the period and particular undertaking has ended, then your partnership comes to an end. By the death of a partner. So unless and until contrary we have agreed. So if we do not make any agreement, we will close the partnership if the partners have died. But if we have agreed that even after the death we want to continue, then you can continue. If the partner has become insolvent, then also the dissolution happens. So section 42 covers all the simple dissolutions on death or insolvency of partner or fixed partnership or particular partnership. That's it. तो यहाँ पे आप लिख लोगे अपने notes में fixed partnership, particular partnership, death of the partner, insolvency of the partner. Clear? 42 is very, very clear. Section 43. Those who are asking, ma'am, what about partnership at will? So now you know what is the meaning of partnership at will, where no fixed period or determination of partnership is done, that partnership is formed at will. Here, if the partners want to dissolve the firm, you simply can dissolve it by giving a notice in writing. A notice in writing has to be given by any of the partner in order to communicate your intention of dissolution. So A, B, C were the partners. They have formed a partnership at will. A will write a notice in writing, Mr. B and C, please, I want to dissolve the firm. I don't want to continue. Let's dissolve the firm. Such kind of partnership at will can be dissolved only by giving the notice in writing. And let's assume he has given the notice on 1st January 2023 that let's dissolve the firm from 5th March 2023. Then from which date the dissolution will happen? It says the date of the dissolution is the date which is mentioned in the notice. So if he has mentioned in the notice that we will dissolve the firm from 5th March, then please dissolve the firm from 5th March. But children, if he has not mentioned the date, and on 1st March, 1st Jan, he sent this notice, then the 1st Jan, the date of communication, will be the date from where the dissolution has to happen. So if you mention the date, on that date, the dissolution will take place. And if no date is given, then the date of dissolution will be the date on which the communication or the notice has been sent. Clear ho gaya dissolution by notice also. And now last 10 minutes we have to give to dissolution by court's order. These are the very, very interesting cases which are given over here. We will take up all of these cases from study material. After that, you will read this case law. There is a very important case study which tells you about reconstitution after dissolution. So reconstitution and dissolution are two different words. Where you're completely ending the firm, it is dissolution. Where only the partners are coming and going, it is the case of reconstitution. Section 45 to 55 are very, very simple. They simply tell you how the liabilities have to be paid off. So by now you all have studied. So first partners' assets have to be used, firm's assets have to be used. Still the liabilities are left, partners' assets will be used, and then the balance amount have to be paid from the share of profits. So section 45 to 55 completely talks about the settlement of liabilities, which is again the topic that you have been covering in your accounts also. So it is very, very easy. So what important thing that we have to learn right now, section 44, because it is very important and very easy also, but we have to do this as well. So what are the cases where the court can order for the dissolution? Number one, the partner has become of unsound mind, insanity or unsound mind. So there was a partner, not a sleeping partner. Sleeping partner तो वैसे ही किसी को पता नहीं है ना उसके बारे में, तो अगर वो unsound mind है तब भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता because he is not known to the public. But the other partners A and B have become unsound mind. They have become mentally ill. They were going through some stress and now they have become mentally ill. Now the court will dissolve on the suit filed by other partners or by the next friend of the insane partner. Now the partners will just go, or maybe their friends will go and file a case in the court that please dissolve this firm because the partners have become unsound mind. How can you continue business? Will you be able to take mental decisions? Can you take up decisions if you have mentally gone ill? So law says this is very much illegal. A person who has become of unsound mind, somebody who has got this problem, then it is better to dissolve the firm. But temporary sickness does not mean the ground for dissolution. Now, say if one of the partners was suffering from COVID and then he recovered, can you say the firm needs to be dissolved because he was ill? No, ma'am, that is not a permanent incapacity. That is not unsound mind. That was just a problem which came and now he's fine. Somebody just had a viral, somebody has a typhoid. So किसी को कोई problem हुई, temporary sickness का मतलब ये नहीं कि dissolve हो जाएगी. But हाँ, permanent incapacity होगी. One of the partner met with an accident and both his legs were gone. He cannot stand, or his body became, some disability has occurred, some illness has occurred. Then the dissolution of firm can happen. So both these cases deal with illness of the partners. If anyone has become unsound mind, permanent incapacity, such kind of cases, the partnership will be dissolved by the order of the court. Who will file an action? Any of the other partners or maybe their friend of the insane partner can take up an action against in the court that please dissolve this firm. Misconduct. If you're doing any kind of misconduct, the court will order the dissolution. What can be the misconduct? You're not behaving properly. Your conduct in the business is not good. You're not dealing properly with the clients. So any kind of adverse effect of misconduct, and this is putting up adverse effect. We're not able to do business or because of this kind of conduct of the partners. Then here the nature of the business will decide whether it is a misconduct or not. Very important. Sometimes the business is such that you have to deal with the clients in little harsh way. Sometimes the business is that you have to be very polite. So whatever is the nature of business, that will decide whether any partner is doing any misconduct or not. Persistent breach of agreement. Persistent means continuous. लिख लेना यहाँ पे. Persistent means continuous, and breach means doing wrong things, breaching, breaking the contract. So you're continuously breaching the agreements. We have made a rent agreement, 10,000 rent have to be paid, you are paying 8,000 rupees. You're doing breach of agreement, you're not following the routine task. You are allowed only to make the purchases, but you're always making the sales. So if any kind of breach of agreement is happening between the partners, court will order the dissolution of the firm. Continuous means regularly. One of the time you made a mistake, then it is not continuous. So embezzlement of cash. आपने हेराफेरी करी, cash गायब कर दिया. Drawer में से you have taken up the cash and you just ran away. So such kind of embezzlements, erroneous accounts, you're making error in making the entries of the accounts. You're not making the accounts properly. Holding more cash than allowed. Refusal to show the accounts. Everybody's repeated requests are giving, please show us the accounts, please show us the account, and you're not showing everything. You're not making the entries properly. Then court will order the dissolution. Example 3, one of the partners is making erroneous accounts, children, making error in the accounts, doing wrong entries, not rectifying the entries properly, and omits to enter the receipts. Omits means fails to enter the receipts. Or there are continued quarrels. Quarrels means ladai jhagda. There is such state of things that mutual confidence of the partners has been destroyed. Now there are 3 partners. Somebody is just making wrong entries. Somebody is bothered to take the profits home. Somebody is just fighting with another person. Can you continue the partnership in such a way? What kind of reputation the clients are going to carry for you? In front of the clients, you're fighting. You're not following the agreements. You're always having quarrels. Such kind of cases, court will say you better dissolve the firm. We don't want such kind of firms because the mutual confidence is the base of partnership. If that is gone, there is no need of partnership. Transfer of interest. I told you section 29, you can transfer your interest only with the consent of all the other partners. Here, a sub-partner is only allowed to seek the accounts only after the dissolution. But if you transfer your entire interest without the consent of other parties, or you have transferred whole of your interest to a third party, then also the court may dissolve the firm at the instance of any other partners. In the recovery of land revenue arrears means just to recover your money, you have transferred your interest only. So if such things are happening, then the court may dissolve the firm. Perpetual losses, perpetual again mean continuous. आपकी फॉर्म को लॉस ही होता जा रहा है हर साल, फिर भी आप दुकान खोल के बैठे थोड़ी ना रहोगे. Court will say, please dissolve your firm, give others a chance to earn some profits. You cannot carry on the business if there are expected losses only in the future. And what is G.44G? It says just and equitable grounds. Where court, I feel that this is not a good purpose to continue the firm. There is deadlock in the management. Management has got stuck in such a way. A says, I will manage. B says, I will manage. C says, I will take care of the things. हर वक्त लड़ाई झगड़े है, डेडलॉक है, मैनेजमेंट एक करेक्ट हैंड्स में आ ही नहीं पा रही. लॉस ऑफ सबस्टेंट्रम. लॉस ऑफ सबस्टेंट्रम मीन्स दैट यू आर नॉट हैविंग फेथ ऑन ईच अदर. So you are having some tantrum, loss has happened. That means you're not trusting each other. You're not having any kind of faith. Partners are not in talking terms. Gambling is happening by the partner. So trading on stock exchange is okay. But if you're gambling, you're doing any illegal activities, court will think that it is just and equitable to just resolve this form. All right. So these section 44, all these clauses, you must learn and remember that how the dissolution by court can happen. We still have time. Let us quickly go through section 45. Section 45 says liability for the acts done after dissolution. So if you have done any actions after dissolution, how it has to be resolved? It has twofold activities: seek, protect third parties dealing with the firm. So any third party who is not having any notice of your dissolution, how will you try to protect them? Okay, so you simply have to understand the certain exceptions also we have already covered, because third party dominant partner was already not known to the public, insolvency and deceased. There is no need to give public notice, but otherwise it is mandatory for you to give a public notice once your firm has got dissolved. Unless and until you will not give a public notice, you will always and always be held liable. So section 45 simply tells you that once the firm has been dissolved, once you're no longer a partner, please give a public notice, issue in the public interest that we are not continuing at the firm. Only the 3 cases where the public notice is not required: death of the partner, insolvency, and sleeping partner. Rights of the partner to have business wound up. So business will completely end and the surplus will be distributed among the partners or their legal representative. So if any of the partner has died, their legal representative will get the surplus. Otherwise, all the partners will get it in the equal share or whatever profit sharing ratio they have decided. How the settlement of partnership accounts will happen? First of all, children, the losses have to be set off from the profits, then from the capital. And if any of the losses is still left, then partners will individually contribute. Well, how do they individually contribute? Why do they individually contribute? Because they have unlimited liability. The personal assets will be bought from the home to dispose of the liabilities. And how the assets of the firm have to be utilized? First, you will pay the debts of the firm. Then you will pay the partner to whom it is due. That is a loan where it was loan taken from the partner. Then you pay the partner's loan. How the assets have to be used? Number 1, you pay the debts of the firm. That means liabilities of the firm. Then you will pay the loan of the partners. After that, you will repay the capital. And any residue or any surplus which is left is given in the share of profit sharing ratio to the partners. Okay. So the lines that I've underlined, simple lines, language, you should make your notes and write it down. Section 48, again, such kind of examples. You can do X and Y were the partners sharing the profits equally and X died. So on taking the partnership account, it was seen 6,60,000 was the capital of the firm and Y only 40,000. So it was seen that Mr. X has contributed 6,60,000 and Y has contributed only 40,000. So the assets were rupees 2 lakh. So in such a case, the deficiency has to be shared equally by Y and X's estate. So whosoever are the legal representative or the balance estate of Mr. X, it has to be divided equally among both of them. Clear ho gaya? Agreement on dissolution, the surplus assets should be divided will be according to the interest on capital, and on dissolution, a deficiency of capital. So whatever is happening will depend upon the real life situation. So whatever agreement you have made, accordingly, we have to divide and share the proportionates which were left. And last section 49, children, it talks about payment of firm's debts and separate debts. So if I am a partner, I will first use the firm's property to make the debts of the firm. And if any surplus, then my personal separate debts will be paid. Let's assume an example. The assets of the firm were rupees 6 lakh. I sold off all the assets of the firm and rupees 6 lakh were left. and I had to make the liabilities of the firm were 1 lakh rupees. And I have my separate 50,000 rupees liabilities also. So what will I first do? First, I will dispose of the liabilities of the firm. First, we will pay the debts of the firm. And still 5 lakh rupees is left. Now I will contribute to the share of partner for their separate debts. So if any partner has separate liabilities, then we will use the firm's assets for paying the separate. Similarly, if I have a separate property, it will be used for my separate debts first. So I have a property of 10 lakh rupees. I will first utilize it for paying my 50,000 and balance I was used for paying the debts of the firm. Simple logic you have to use that whatever the firm's assets are should be disposing of the firm's liability first and then disposing of your separate debts or liabilities. And if you as a partner has contributed and your assets which are being sold, आपने एक टेबल दिया फर्म में दिया था, अब उसकी वैल्यू 40,000 रुपीज आई, तो पहले जो आपकी liabilities है उस 40,000 में से you will dispose of your liabilities, and if any balance is left, it will be utilized for paying the liabilities of the firm. And with this, we come to an end of your dissolution of partnership and dissolution of firm. You have understood about registration of firm also. So now we have last 5 to 6 minutes, which I really wanted in interaction with all of you because we'll be meeting later on now. And when we do Companies Act, the last session of Companies Act for last half an hour, we will try to keep the mock test papers like we did in sale of goods. We will be covering the mock test papers of partnership as well as Companies Act also. All right. So now if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we will take up those MCQ questions also I can take up with you. Yes, Ms. Tiwari Radhesham, even if one of the partners has become unsound mind, other partners will request for the dissolution. Legal representative bhumika happens when the partner has died. Unsound mind, mein there are no legal representative. The person is still alive. Embezzlement means you are misusing the funds. You are not taking care of the funds. You have done any misuse. You have utilized it for some personal purposes also. Loss of substantrum means that the faith and confidence that you had between the partners is now no longer there. You're not trusting each other. You're always holding a suspicion about each other. Then the court will dissolve the firm. Yes, Mr. Ashutosh Pani, I will also miss all of you. Thank you, Sarthak Mohanty. Mr. Abhishek, if the partnership was at will, then also if you want registration, again, the same funda will apply for registration. If you have got the firm registered, you get those 4 benefits. If it is not registered, then it becomes your disadvantages. Yes, Bhumika Chauhan, if you continue the partnership after the expiry of fixed term, it will become partnership at will. Thank you, Ashwini. All clear. That's great. Ayushi, please explain point C again. Which point C, page number, please? No, ma'am, no doubts. Very good. Amazing teaching. Thank you, Ms. Priyanka. Thank you so much. Yes, Akshay Kumar, you can write in simple language also. In exams, there is no need to write down the sections. It's not compulsory. It's okay. Mr. Kevin, deadlock means if there has been any stoppage in the management and it is not possible to continue the management. Thank you, Ms. Nidhi. Thank you, Ms. Ritu Tiwari. Page number 3.54, somebody is asking. Okay, we will see to that as well. In paying the rateable, okay. Point number 35, page number 3.54 says that you have to repay the profits first. You have to see if the amount is left after paying the loan, you have to pay the capital of the partner. So whatever capital the partners have contributed, that is also to be paid back to the partners in the same ratio. All right, Nikita. And the losses, if any, again has to be first utilized from the capital and then the individual shares of the partners. So first you pay out the profits, then capital, and then individually the partners have to pay. So Ms. Nikita, you simply have to remember that always you have to apply the logic that whenever the firm we are talking, firm's assets will be used for paying the liabilities. If anything is left, partners will be invited because they have unlimited liability. All right. Thank you, Mr. Shubham Mangla. Thank you, Mr. Pramod K. Thank you, Mehak Roy. Happy Lodi to you all also. All the MCQs given over here, you can practice them. And if you still have any doubts, you can ask me. So it will be now a test for you when I upload the presentation. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Suchang. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you, Mehak. Thank you, Arun Kumar. Thank you, Ayushi Bhotra. I am glad you people enjoyed the session. Thank you, Ms. Divya K. All the recorded lectures are there on YouTube. Even if you have missed out anything, you can go there and see it. Okay, deadlock is now clear. Mr. Kevin, you're still stuck with deadlock. So I say that I will manage the business. B is saying I will manage the business. Mr. Kevin says, no, I will hold the management. So everybody is trying to act as a hero or a leader in the firm, and the management gets spoiled. Now you don't know how to run which client to move. So that is a kind of a deadlock exam. Okay. All right, Mgoda, Divya, Shreyas, Richa. Thank you, children. Abhishek again and again keep asking, ma'am, can we use simple English language? Definitely, you can keep simple English language. You can write it in your own language. And even if you will go through the suggested answers given on the website of the ICI, the way they have presented the answers, you can still brief them down. And it is not compulsory to use the same technical language. You can make it simpler, like example that I've shared with you of a partner by holding out. Please refer to that. You will understand how you can simplify and make it in a simple language. Yes, definitely you can use that word approval. That's absolutely fine. Sure, Mr. Sarthak Mohanty, definitely. Thank you, Ms. Sri S. Thank you, children. I hope you enjoyed today's session and wishing you a lot of good luck for your studies and revise well. Whenever we meet next, you have any doubts in the Indian Partnership Act, I would be there to clear it out to you. And have a nice and safe Lodi. Happy Lodi once again. Enjoy yourself and goodbye. All right. Thank you so much.